Welcome everybody to I'll Be Right Back, the show where we take a look at a horror movie. And Peter, it's Halloween, and I think everyone's entitled to one good scare, so we are here watching the original Halloween.
Bullshit, innit? Shite.
Peter, how dare you? Unbelievable. Don't even play with my heart like that.
I don't know that I am. I think I'm going to get lots of hate in this video. It's not as good as I thought.
Well, you took the wind out of my sails there, Peter. This is just full disclosure. This is my favorite horror movie, my second favorite movie of all time. I think this is about as close to flawless as a movie can get. I think, it established all of the tropes of slasher movies, and I don't think they've ever been done better than this film.
I think this is an absolute film that is viewed through nostalgia goggles. And what I mean by that is, I'm just winding you up. I'm not saying that I hated this film, but certainly didn't.
I hope not.
And I've certainly watched this multiple times, but not for a long time. Now, we watched it recently together at a cinema screening at For the Love of Horror. And I know it's a classic, before people jump at us and attack us with pitchforks. I know everybody loves this film. Banging theme tune. It's very atmospheric. Do you know what? When we were watching it at For the Love of Horror, I was bored. It takes a long time.
It does. No, it's a slow movie. You did jump at one of the jump scares, which surprised me.
I did. I think, to be fair, that's because I'd fallen asleep.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Fair enough.
No, I'm being harsh. I can't remember which jump scare it was, but yeah, I remember getting a shock.
I think it's when the bully runs into him when he's running out of the school.
Yes.
Right after he pushes the kid.
Yeah.
It's the really sharp, like, every time the Michael Myers shows up.
Just to be fair, before, like I say, people burn us at the stake, this is what, 40 years old?
Pushing 50. It'd be 50 in 3 years.
And it is a classic. It's got amazing music, all the rest of it. It has aged, perhaps, with time. The kills aren't as inventive as we're kind of used to now.
Fair, that's fair, yeah.
Do you know, I mean, we watched this and then we watched Terrifier 3. Do you know, totally different films. In today's movies, we're used to seeing that. So has it dulled the effect of Halloween a little for me? I think maybe it has. There was times in this film I was thinking, Michael, pick up the pace a bit, man. Get into a kind of a jog. Or just power walk. Something. You know
He drives around a little bit in the movie, you know?
He does, yeah.
You know, I'm surprised at that because a lot of the time we're talking about, this is our 30th episode of doing this show now. We talk about, God knows, hundreds of horror movies that we've talked about now at this stage. And a lot of the time when we see slasher stuff, you're like, yeah, it was cool, there's cool kills and stuff, but this isn't my type of horror. My type of horror is the more slower, methodical, tension building, kind of ghosty stuff. So like this is kind of like that, but in a slasher film.
I think for me, it's because I'm expecting something more inventive now, and that's not fair when I'm looking at a film from nigh on 50 years ago. So that's my issue. Do you know what I mean? I'm expecting an interesting kill because the knife in someone's chest has been done to death repeatedly. Do you know what I mean? So you want something that'll keep you interested. So that's unfair because this is the one that started them all, I guess. But that doesn't take away from the fact, for me personally, that watching the film now, it's a bit dull.
This is my comfort horror movie. I watch this twice a year at least. But like I watched this quite late. I watched this when I was like 13 or so, like that, in the middle of the day. And it was the first time I realized, I can be scared by a movie from the 70s. I thought it was terrifying. But a bit of background about the movie. So written and directed by John Carpenter. This was his third film after Dark Star, which we talked about in our Alien episode, which was like a really low budget, like it's a silver ball kind of sci-fi monster movie. And then he did a really underrated movie called Assault on Precinct 13, which is
seen that.
Sort of inspired by Dawn of the Dead, but it's like these kind of gang members trying to break into a precinct to kill a witness or something. Brilliant film. The idea came from producers Erwin Yablans and Mustafa Akkad, who wanted a low-budget horror movie about babysitters being stalked on Halloween night. Erwin also requested the title be changed from The Babysitter Murders to Halloween. Carpenter teamed up with co-writer and producer Deborah Hill, who brought authenticity to the teenage characters and small-town setting. The movie was made for around $300,000, shot in just 3 weeks, and inspired by earlier thrillers like Psycho and Black Christmas. But yeah, this established all the modern tropes, like the masked killer. You know, we had a couple of examples prior to that, but like I think this really set that in stone, you know, the kind of horror icon character. Final Girl kind of stems from this, the sex equals death kind of trope. Some very promiscuous characters in this. The suburban setting, I love that. Like half of the movie takes place in the middle of the day. Michael is just walking around in broad daylight.
The stalking kind of element of this is done very well, but it's not until you start unpicking it how quickly Michael must run out of shot.
Yeah.
Things like that. Do you know what I mean? I can't not see it and not think of that. I do like the stalking element. I do like the idea of him kind of standing, just looking and things like that. It's not really explained in this one why he goes after her, is it?
So obviously down the road, the second movie established that it's his sister, and then they kind of got rid of that for the 2018 movie. So in this, it's really because her dad is selling the Myers house, and she goes to drop the keys by, and he's inside the house. So he gets a close look at her, and he just kind of zones in on her then and fixates on her. I thought was cool watching it again was like, Michael's not stupid. Like, I think Jason is a bit stupid. You could trick Jason really easy, whereas Michael, like, he seems quite methodical. Like, he's following Laurie to school, and then he goes and follows Tommy at a separate school because he's like, they're going to link back up later. There's premeditation there. I thought that was quite interesting. So some of the characters in this, like, obviously Jamie Lee Curtis is Laurie Strode. This is her first movie. She was picked because her mom is from Psycho.
I mean, obviously Jamie Lee goes on to bigger and better things. Well, no, it's probably unfair, but Halloween's that star role in it. But she is the standout in this. Can I just say, before you start waffling on about cast and things like that, I could have quite happily held down that girl and let Michael stab her to death, the one that keeps saying totally.
Linda.
That was pissing me off. Totally. Is it totally? It's like, fuck
She
off.
says it. Again, so
she says it every time she opens her mouth.
And it's funny because I met PJ Souls at a convention a couple of years ago, and she wrote totally on my thing, and so I'd never actually caught that she says it that much, but she literally says it all the time, like it's every sentence.
Once you notice it, you can't. It's one of those things. Once you notice it, you cannot not hear it every time she opens her mouth, and it pulls you out of it because it's like, what? People don't talk like that, do they?
I mean, like Valley Girls in California, I suppose would, but this is in Illinois,
Yo, I'm wasted with you. I literally set you up there. Let's do it again. Try harder. All right, James. People don't really talk like that, do they?
Totally did.
Well done.
Yeah,
Well done.
It totally did. There's some great big characters in it. I really like Nancy Loomis as Annie. I thought she was a really fun kind of character, very confident one. Charles Cypher is the Sheriff Brackett, so like not in it that much, but super iconic line, everyone's tired of one good scare. Obviously we love that one enough that we named our channel after it. So I thought he was just a great part. For me, like you say Jamie Lee Curtis is stand up. For me, Donald Pleasance is just
he's
phenomenal in this movie. I love Loomis. I love how like everyone around him is so calm, but he's just going ballistic. He's just like, you don't understand this guy, and like he's right. That's the funny thing, but it does seem like he's overacting. I also like he is a little crazy himself. Like you have this one moment where the bullies go up to knock on the Myers house. Get your ass away from there, Lanny. And he just like looks really pleased with himself that he scared the kids for a minute. I just thought that was like, such a weird, fun moment,
Incredible actor to have in a film, like you say, back then, not very well regarded horror movies, were they? So to get someone of his talent was great, really.
I really love the opening, the little kind of 5-minute POV shot that we get of like Kitty Michael going through the house and stuff. First time I noticed the boyfriend gets away, I always in my head, even though I've seen this God knows how many times, I just noticed it this time. Like, oh, the boyfriend just walks out the door. That's funny because like in no other Halloween movie does that character ever like come back into play. Like surely he has a story. Banged Michael Myers' sister 5 minutes before he killed her.
Doesn't feature in anything else.
No, that character's never brought up again.
I do like that start. I do like the start. It sets the scene quite nicely, doesn't it?
I like Annie's death, like when she gets in the car and it's all fogged out.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. He just kind of throttles her, doesn't he?
Yeah, and then he does slash her throat, but there's just like a little spurt of blood on the windscreen or something, isn't there? Yeah. Probably the most iconic kill in the movie, Bob, who gets like pinned to the wall. I know, like there's no knife in existence that is strong enough and long enough to pin a human person to a wall, but I'll let it go.
That's probably the most memorable kill. I have to be honest, I struggle to remember many more.
There's not that many more. That's the thing, isn't it? Like, you have Annie, Linda just gets choked when she's talking on the phone to Laurie. So we got a little joke out of that one. I thought that was fun as well. And then Bob's is obviously the most iconic. That's kind of it. Like you have the final confrontation, like the movie builds towards this like the whole time. But the Laurie versus Michael kind of sequence of like she like kind of gets him and then she thinks he's dead and then like he'll sit back up or he comes up the stairs. I thought all that was great. My favorite shot in any movie of all time, I think, is when Laurie finds, I think it's Linda's body on the bed and she backs up and you just see the white Michael Myers mask coming through the darkness. I think that's probably the most beautiful shot in any movie of all time. Like, I absolutely love that one.
I will give you that. It is an incredible shot. And I do remember, because you'll not have noticed, James, but I'm a little bit older than you. I do remember watching this, just a smidge. I remember watching this back in the days, probably when I was like 13 or 14 or something like that. The bit where he kind of like sits bolt upright and stuff like that. This is part of my problem, I guess, with watching it now. Because it hadn't been done before, that was like horrifying to us. The anxiety of you kind of beat this guy, and then when he goes over the edge and then he's gone again and it ends, do you know what I mean, he's still out there, was terrifying. Not as much impact now, I don't think.
So I was just about to say, like, as it is a perfect ending of just like, oh, he's gone, what happens next, who knows. And, you know, and the original idea for this series was to make an anthology, and we're never supposed to find out. But now you have with, you know, Halloween 2, all the rest of them, then there was H2O, which was a reboot, and then there was the 2018 one, which is a reboot as well. We have various versions of what happened next, and I think they all kind of take away from the original film, but that's just sort of a, you know, what happens when you decide to continue from an ending like this.
I will give it its props, mind, in that it got us back into enjoying and clamouring for a bit of Michael. So I went back yesterday and watched the first movie in the new trilogy. I went back and rewatched that and thoroughly enjoyed it.
Love that one. Yeah, so, that's probably my favourite after this one, I would say, yeah. A little bit of trivia about the movie. When Halloween was sold to NBC for broadcast in 1980, the film was too short after censor cuts. Carpenter shot additional scenes during Halloween 2's production to pad the runtime, including Loomis arguing with hospital staff and more time at Smith Grove Asylum. It's interesting because it actually, like, there's references to Laurie being Michael's sister. So if you had seen that on TV, that is like in the original movie that there's references to that, which is, I think, is quite interesting. PJ Souls, who plays Linda, brought her boyfriend to the premiere. She didn't warn him about her topless scene. His reaction reportedly got a huge laugh from the audience. I would be absolutely fuming about that.
I'd be mortified. Yeah, absolutely mortified.
And lastly, Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee were both offered the role of Loomis but declined. Lee would later describe his decision as a big mistake. As much as I love Donald Pleasance in this movie, and I think he's, for me, the standout other than like the Michael Myers character, I could absolutely see both of those working really well in this.
Both incredible actors, but, you know, Donald was superb.
So the feature of the series, we had Halloween 2 in 1981. So Carpenter kind of was kind of strong-armed into writing a sequel, Michael Myers. He originally wanted this to be an anthology series. So he basically said, okay, I'll write one more Michael one and we kill him at the end and then we can move on. So they did that. Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, which I love just as a standalone thing. I don't even really consider it a Halloween movie. It's just its own thing, and I think it's really fun.
That's the one with the masks.
The masks and the kids, the Silver Shamrock stuff. So I like in its own way, I think that's become an incredibly iconic film, and a lot of people seem to appreciate it more now. Like it was the dark horse for a long time, but people kind of retroactively are enjoying that one, so that's quite nice to see. Then 1988, we had Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. So Return, Revenge, and Curse. So they're known as the Thorn trilogy. So they get into kind of Michael's a supernatural being, there's this cult involved, mostly follows Loomis and then Laurie's daughter. Then in 1998 we had Halloween H2O, so that scrapped 4, 5 and 6 and went back to 2 from the ending from that one. That's the first Halloween movie I saw, because that came out kind of in the Scream days where you had like Urban Legend and I Don't Know What You Did Last Summer. It's very much in the vein of that. Probably the most scared I've ever been in a film, like as a kid, was there's a scene in that where a girl goes into a toilet stall in like a truck stop, and he kind of comes in the door and it's like, is he going to burst the door down or something like that? And I remember that terrified me as a kid, but I still think that movie holds up.
I haven't seen that one for a long time, but I seem to remember liking it at the time. Did they try and inject some silly humour into that? I'm trying to think.
No, that's the next one. So that's it's got that kind of meta Kevin Williamson kind of writing to it, you know. But Halloween Resurrection is what you're thinking of. So that was in 2002. It's like a live stream kind of haunted house experience thing, and they're all filming it. Yeah. Busta Rhymes is like a producer who knows karate. Tyra Banks is in it. It's very watchable because it's so bad, but I think it's entertaining. I would watch that anytime, you know. Then we got the reboot, the Rob Zombie reboot in 2007. So I know you watched that last year. You quite liked that?
Yeah. I thought, well, I'm not sure I'd say liked. I think the second half of the film is pretty much just a retelling of the first Halloween, which I quite liked, yeah. The first half, not so much. I seem to remember some very strange language and interactions with the father figure or something.
Unnecessarily crass and vulgar, I think Rob Zombie movies are, and it just doesn't suit the Halloween vibes.
I think from memory it tries to explain Michael a little bit in terms of why he is, and that kind of comes back to me to the whole conversation we're having about the strangers. I don't really want to know about his childhood and why he's a psycho. I just want him to be an unknown entity psycho. Do you know what I mean? I'm not interested in, oh, his cat died and that's
flashbacks to him as a kid. He killed like cats when he was a kid or whatever. I like that, like, because the start of the movie just suggests this, that he was just a normal kid until one day he just kind of did this. And then he was just kind of quiet for 20 years, and then he comes back and kills people. I enjoy that, the mystique of it, that, like, because that is what happens sometimes, I think, you know. There's not necessarily always that.
I mean, it's nearly happened to me a few kids. Share it with you.
Yeah, of course, yeah. That got a sequel in 2009, Halloween 2. Really weird.
Don't think I've seen that one.
Much more Rob Zombie. And then we got the David Gordon Green trilogy in 2018. We had Halloween Kills in 2021, Halloween Ends in 2022. I love all those movies, even though there's issues. I think Kills and Ends are in the wrong order. Kills should have been the weird experimental one where you had like a new kid who's like taken under Michael's wing, and then you end with just a Michael Myers killing spree.
I feel like they were written by committee. And what I mean by that, and it's a while since I've watched them, so you might tell us I'm talking cack, but I really enjoyed the first one. I feel the second one ends very heavily leaning into the supernatural element. Like, you cannot kill evil and he gets beat to shit, and that's where I thought it was going. Then the next one, they kind of abandoned that. He's living in a sewer, practically dying. And it just felt like, what happened here? What happened there?
Oh no, you're completely right. Like, Laurie gives this big speech at the end of Kills of like, the more he kills, the more he transcends. And it's like, he's a supernatural thing, but then he's just decrepit in a sewer for 5 years doing nothing. And Laurie moves on and becomes like a proper grandmother, and it's like, even when he's out there, you know. But I did like the point of that trilogy was that like Laurie doesn't mean anything to him. He was just she was just the car he chased kind of in the moment. And I like that retcon. I really enjoyed that, and like the idea that Laurie is upset about that like, you know, he's everything to her but she's nothing to him kind of thing. I thought that was really cool. So I like those ones. There's talks about like a cinematic universe might be getting I think they talk about a TV show, a new movie, probably going back to the original and just taking off from there again. An anthology thing I think would be cool, or just Michael in the 70s.
How many times can we tell the same story? But
I mean, they've done it they rebooted 3 times. I don't mind them doing it again. You know, why not? Just you don't need Laurie in there, like just Michael as a character. Any excuse to get him on a killing spree again, I'm pretty happy with. So I don't really mind. So, any final thoughts on Halloween?
No, listen. To be perfectly frank, as an old movie, it is very, very good. It's got some great beats to it. The music is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. It's got a lot of atmosphere and all that. As a classic, it absolutely stands up. For me personally, watching it now, 50 years later or whatever it may be, it is a bit more of a struggle to watch. I can see why it's so well regarded, but I would be lying if I didn't say my eyes while I was on my phone and things like that. Do you know what I mean? I was starting to drift. That might just be because I've seen the film 4 or 5 times, you know? But yeah, I appreciate it's a classic, and it's probably one of those classics that I don't think I need to keep going back and rewatching, because I fear that every time I rewatch it, I'll come away a little bit more disappointed.
Like, for me, timeless. In my opinion, the greatest horror film ever made. I think even like any flaws, like people point out like little goofs, like you can see a wrench tied to his hand when he smashes the car window, or like you can see John Carpenter's cigarette smoke like trailing across the screen. I think that all just adds to the charm of it. I just love the 70s vibes. The score, as you said, is just so iconic, so incredible. I think just Michael is incredibly portrayed in it. It's scary. Like, I don't find it scary watching it now because I've seen it so much, but it is like a very tense, like frightening film. I can't imagine even watching it at the time. Just an absolute classic, greatest horror film ever made. I think probably ever will be made. And that's I'll Be Right Back on Halloween. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, leave a like. We review all the latest horror movies in the cinemas, and we have episodes of I'll Be Right Back on various horror movies, so go check that out. We also have One Good Scare live every second Friday, and we'll be right back next time with...
Bill, if you'll come with me, you'll float too. You'll float too. You'll float too. You'll float too. You'll float too.
Never, under any circumstances, say, I'll be right back. Because you won't be back.